welcome to the third episode of the Countdown to You podcast, Headline with the Poppers. And I am Nick, and I'm with Georgia Panache. Say hello, guys.
Going on, people.
So, how's everyone doing? I can see all of us need a trim.
Yeah.
It's desperate. It's mad times. Desperate.
Yeah.
It's my hairline as well.
Mate.
Huh?
It's his hairline, he said.
No.
I'm getting bored as fuck. Genuinely so bored at the minute.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
There's only so much like exercising you can do, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you back to work? Well, you never left work, did you?
Nah, I'm a key worker, so I've been working throughout the whole thing. But it is what it is. You know, I appreciate everyone clapping for me on the Thursday. all your messages, I read them, all my DMs. And if I don't get back to you, I'm sorry, but I appreciate the love, everyone.
But yeah, let's get into it. So every episode, a member of the crew, I guess, picks out 4 articles that we react to and give our take on. So headlines with the poppers, we go through the biggest headlines from the past week and we react to them. We tend to try to keep it, 2 news articles, 1 entertainment one and 1 sports related one. And all of them kind of come into a bit under the news bracket, apart from the entertainment one. But others could be quite like newsy, aren't they? So, but regardless, let's just get onto it. Yeah. So, Article 1 was the Ahmaud story from the US.
Oh yeah.
So a bit of backstory. This guy was jogging in America. I think it was South America, wasn't it? Like around Georgia side.
Georgia, yeah.
Yeah. Brunswick, Georgia.
Yeah. So that guy, well, young man really, young adult, he was jogging and 2 white guys, I think one of them was an ex-police officer, and they just chased him down, didn't they? They hunted him down pretty much like an animal. And shot killed him. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? It got a massive reaction on social media, didn't it? I've seen that.
Yeah.
Celebrities, basketball players, everyone was really taken back by it.
Flash?
Yeah, I think obviously like police shootings aren't new in America, but I think what made this one like stand out was that it was 2 civilians who did it. I think the story was like he was a burglar, so they followed him and then like they killed him afterwards. And then what happened was like this happened in February. That's when he got killed. I think it was the 26th of February. And they only got arrested for it last week. And that's where like the uproar kind of came from. And that's where like they started trending.
What I don't get is how it happened in February and we're only just finding out about it now. Even, like, obviously we got it on camera, but forget the fact it was on camera. His family, if he had any, and I'm not sure if he had any family, will obviously have known of his death.
Yeah.
So how have his family, not how of his family, but how has the news only just got to us now that the footage has been released? That's what I don't understand. I don't understand how.
It's because
heard of it yet.
The family didn't have the footage. It was the person who leaked it online was actually a friend of the shooters, and he thought the video.
I get that, but I mean, obviously his family will have known he's been shot. So, like, how have his family not had a voice? Tried to tell people he's been shot.
I don't think they had the connections.
It was that. Also, the whole thing about it coming out was the verdict in court, because they got acquitted, didn't they? They got found guilty, but they didn't get set down. They avoided any jail time, so they just got released. That was the whole big hoo-ha about it. That was why it went so viral, because
oh my day,
that happened, and they just got away with it because apparently suspicion of him robbing a TV, which never got proven guilty. And because obviously there was a lot of sort of corruption, because the guy who shot him, one of the guys was a former police officer. So really, he should have knew better instead of actually doing what he did. But that was one of the big reasons why they started
Yeah. What it was like the district attorneys, they like recused themselves from the cases, and then they just let them go, and then they kind of just like stolen it. I don't know what it is in America where like they just always protect the police in every case. They always find
because like even Trump came out today in his press conference and said, "Vaccine or no vaccine, like we're back." Like that whole country is just fucked. Like from top to bottom, it's just completely fucked, and there's not really much you can do. Like no matter what people try and do in that country, I don't think you can reverse the effects everything's had.
It's mental, yeah. There was
it's just a bit mad.
I just remember now, a couple years ago, or well, a couple of years, about a year and a half ago, there was that case where a police officer at the time went into a wrong flat, and there was like a black guy sitting down, and then she shot and killed him. But she ended up going into the wrong flat, didn't she? So she thought flat, but
Amber Greiger, I think.
Yeah, and then she done like a stupid sentence. It weren't like what somebody
I think
like a murder.
I think she got like 5 years. I think 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, but that's silly though. For murder, she should be at least like 11, 12 years.
And the worst thing about that was like in the trial room, the judge was a black woman, and she gave Amber a Bible and sent her off to prison and cried for and prayed for her.
It's crazy. Remorse. I don't know. It's one of them things. But that story, man, it was very hard hitting, that Ahmaud story.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just hope him and his family just find justice, because
they've been arrested now, haven't they? So
yeah.
Does anyone know like when the court case, like obviously the retrial will be?
No, I don't really know. It's apart from the very basic details that you get in the article, really. But man, it's not.
Yeah, I followed the case for a little bit, but like basically the county that like let it go, they said they didn't have the power or the jurisdiction to do it, and because of Corona, they couldn't get a jury to indict them. But then because of like all the pressure from social media, they got arrested, and then now they're just all they're saying is they're investigating and that justice will prevail, but we just need time, and that's what they've been saying. But
we'll probably just wait for all the heat to die down and just release them or some shit.
Yeah, say after you go.
Genuinely,
no, it won't die down. It won't die down. There was this video on Twitter, like some black militia people were on the road of where he got that like neighborhood with like open guns, because it's like it's an open carry state, so you can just carry your guns about.
Yeah,
and like, they're just there, just chilling. It looked mad.
See,
I don't see it dying down for like a while.
You hear about American. Obviously, like you'd like to live there and stuff, like in Miami or LA, or whatever. But as overall, that whole, I hate the fact that each state it's completely independent kind of thing. They've got their own set of laws. So you can go to a different state, and literally the world could be like you're going to a different country. I don't like that.
It's all about like America's a free country and all this, isn't it? Like we want like even with nonsense. Like the coronavirus now, like every different state has different rules for the coronavirus, and how is that fair? Like whatsoever?
It's not.
It's stupid.
Because that whole that makes like the whole the fact that obviously guns are legal there. Some of like the rules will favour people with guns, if you know what I mean. Also, you go to more like metropolitan cities like New York and stuff. Obviously, they've still got guns, but they're not as flashy, as open and stuff. But like, you go to like Georgia, you have to like be careful, because if you talk shit to someone and you get into an argument, they might pull out a fucking in the face.
I know, but I don't know where that mentality has come from in America, where they just feel like, I
think it's always been about.
I think so.
Yeah, it's always been about, but like, come on, not like, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but if like in England, if you have like a disagreement or something, it's calm. Or even just now, no one's like happy about carrying guns about. But in there, they just love it. And like, when Obama tried to like abolish the gun laws, they were having none of it.
Yeah,
absolutely none of it.
It's far right.
Yeah, it's a part of their culture now. That's just who they think they are now.
That's true. Maybe it is the culture.
Yeah, we say that about England though. People are carrying knives and that now.
Yeah,
I know, but it's like it's not like no one's gonna go. There's not like a law to say you can carry knives. That's like a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
where like people carry knives for other reasons. Like if you say like gangs and crimes in America, that kind of mentality is the same as like some gangs here. But your random household will have a gun and they'll like have it on the fireplace and like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And you go to the supermarkets and there's guns there. It's mad.
Yeah,
ammunition
when
stores
I went America, in my first year of uni, I went to Walmart, and you can literally go to a corner of the shop, not even a corner, like the whole wall, like behind me, the whole wall would just be filled with guns. And there'd be like a glass case, like where the cashier is, be like a glass thing, like in a jewelry store, and that'd just be filled with bullets and more guns. Like, it's mad. I walked in and I was just staring at it like, I could buy this.
What guns though? Is it like big like M16s, like big guns, or just like
like big guns?
Yeah.
Yeah, like obviously ranging from like obviously small little handguns to like big like automatic machine guns.
But why the prices though? I
can't remember the price. It's not off the top of my head.
But if there's supermarkets, they won't be like grands. They'll be affordable. I mean, like $100 or something, $100 or whatever.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, yeah, let's move on from the US and all of their problems. Did you read Article 2 about the railway worker in London who passed away from coronavirus?
No.
Yeah.
That's just honestly ridiculous. You can't really put into words how disgusting it is that someone's done that, because that could genuinely be any one of us, because it could be me working in a supermarket, it could be Panache walking to his job. Like, it could genuinely be anyone. And it's just obviously so unfortunate that it was that woman who has a family as well. It's not even like she was just had no family. She had a full family. She had a kid.
For me, it's manslaughter, man. It's something like that, because to spit at someone and then intentionally coughing them after you're going around saying, "Oh, you've got corona, yeah," and then you just come up to them and you start coughing on them and spitting on them to make sure that they get corona as well, and then they die from it. That's sort of murder, like murder, manslaughter.
Yeah, it is. It's murder. It's not even manslaughter. It's murder. Yeah. Like, they knew the implications coronavirus has.
Yeah.
And obviously they must have just been healthy enough to be able to deal with the virus. But by spitting at that woman, like, it's just disgusting. Like, they knew what could have happened to her. They knew the implications.
No, that touched me, man. That got to me when I was reading that, because like that could be your mom, and that could be it's someone's mom, and somebody's done that to them, just killed them. That really, it's just such a shit thing to do. What do you think?
She's just going about her everyday life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was sad, but then they also were saying they were complaining to their bosses and stuff how they didn't have any PPE equipment, and then the real company said, "Oh, the government, we're just following government guidelines." And at the time, they said we didn't have to give PPE. And then Matt Hancock as well said people who die because of COVID-19, it's only NHS workers that get a payout, but then other essential workers don't get a payout, and the family complaining about that as well. So I think it was a sad situation, but it could have definitely avoidable from her employees and the man who obviously did it. He didn't have to do that. And I didn't see any news about him as well. I don't think the police have even arrested him or like that. I didn't see anything about that.
Yeah,
neither did I.
It's just they just got away with it. But what you think it's more board level? It could have been it could have been prevented. So who's to blame for you? Is it a person who spat at him, or
obviously it's the person who spat at him? But the whole issue is precautions can be made, because for example, my company, I just showed you the goggles they gave me. Before I go to work every week, they meet me outside the place I'm going to go to, and they give me new PPE, gloves, masks, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not NHS either, but like, especially if you're working in a railway, you're going to be dealing with people in public transport and like hygiene and stuff like that. And like the statement I got from like the company was kind of like, "Oh, government said we didn't have to do it, so we're not going to do it." That kind of attitude, I think, is going to kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's just negligence by the government, because I think all key workers should have PPE. Like even people working in supermarkets, they're dealing with up to like sometimes up to like 1,000 people a day, maybe. Like it's a bit naive from the government to not give everyone who's a key worker PPE, because they can deal with so many people, and it can be asymptomatic as well. Like you don't have to show symptoms to have the virus.
Yeah.
So you could have it and just be passing it on and on and on. And it's very naive. It don't really make sense to me, because they can afford it. Like they can afford the PPE. They're just choosing to spend that money on other stuff.
Yeah, man, let's probably move on from that topic. It is a very sad one, man. It's very touching kind of thing, because just seeing someone like it's just very easy to like imagine that being a family member. But yeah, Article 3 was also from the Metro, and I put all of these articles in a description so people can like have a read at them themselves. So it was NS10v10. Have you seen that? I think it was No Signal Radio. So they've been doing a 10 clashes between certain artists, and this article's talking about Rihanna and Drake's one particularly. So did you use that tune into this? I did. I listened to it. But
I didn't watch this one. I watched the one before that. Who was it? The WizKid against
Vybz Kartel.
Who was it?
It was Vybz Kartel.
Yeah, I watched that. I just wanted to see what it was like, and I turned it off halfway through, because obviously I didn't really know most of Vybz Kartel's songs, but I knew some of WizKid. And then I just missed this one. I just mustn't have been on Twitter at the time.
Well, what do you think of that format anyway? It's like, it's such a simple format, but it's like when preparation meets opportunity, yeah? Because they've done this when everyone's indoors, so everyone's listening, and it's just like, growing up. Like, it doesn't take a genius to come up with this idea, but it's just like, it's perfect timing.
Well, it kind of started first in America, didn't it? I don't know if you've seen like the Instagram lives that like DJs in America have been doing. Like, I know Hit Boy, like Timbaland and Swizz Beatz had started it, and like they basically host the show, and they set up a lineup of DJs that they want to go against each other. So, for example, we'll do 20 for 20 on this. It'll be on Instagram Live. So like 20 songs they produced versus 20 songs the other DJs produced, and it's been pretty successful. Like there's been like up to like 100,000 viewers on some of the Instagram Lives. There's like T-Pain's been on it, Hit Boy, and a few others. I can't think off the top of my head, but the way that it's been set out is quite good. Is this No Signal Radio? They're from the UK.
Yeah, it's British people.
Yeah.
London or Leicester.
Yeah, so I like the fact they've like incorporated it into the UK scene now.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's like they touch different genres. So they don't like Vybz Kartel and WizKid, they like Bashment and their Afro beats, and they went to R&B with Chris Brown and Usher, and also now they went to like Drake and Rihanna, which is a bit more poppy, and also done rap. I think there's a little Wayne against Rick Ross. So yeah, they a bit, and also done some grime stuff. But yeah, Panache, what do you think about this whole format, the whole concept?
I'm not really a fan, to be fair. Well, it's not that I'm not a fan, but like, I don't see the hype of everyone else. Like when they go on Twitter, like it's mad. Like they just can't go on Spotify and type in songs themselves and listen to the music. And like, I listened to the Drake and Rihanna one, and like, I don't know, like, I think the classics ones, I'm not really a fan of the classics. I don't think it's my demographic to listen to Rihanna classic songs.
Yeah.
But I did get hyped though when Better Have My Money came on. That was like my vibe there. But I think it's just people are bored, so anything, literally anything, they'll latch onto.
Yeah. With me, it's a social media conversation that surrounds it, I reckon. That's what makes it better. Because in the actual like the clashes, the actual song for song, it's very annoying because they'll like miss some popular songs, and then you're like, for example, there's Chris Brown against Usher like 2 weeks ago, and I listen to Chris Brown like all the time, and there were some songs that like this guy.
The DJs are dead.
Yeah, bro, he was playing Kiss Kiss, Kiss Kiss. Like by Chris Brown, that song. Like I was listening to that when he's 6. Like nobody's gonna like choose.
Yeah, that was a banger though.
Yeah, but bro,
George, it's 2020, mate.
If you're gonna pick,
it's still a banger. You got to think of the nostalgia behind it.
Yeah, I get that, but bro, I think of his 10 top 10 tracks. That's not his.
It's not his top 10. No, not at all.
He didn't play like Privacy. He didn't play there's just so many good songs he didn't play. And
did he play Beautiful People? Is that what it's called? Yeah, see, that's top 10 easy for me.
See, there's so many good songs. And that was the same with the Drake one. That is what I don't like about it, because with this Drake versus Rihanna, Drake was limited to only songs where he was singing.
Yeah.
You couldn't get any rap one.
That's what I heard as well, yeah.
And that's just stupid. You can't say artist and then give one guy a handicap and then give the other person not the same handicap. It just makes no sense.
You should have just chosen a different artist for Drake to go against, or a different artist for Rihanna to go against, because there's plenty of artists that have a great discography Drake could go against, or that Rihanna could go against. It is dumb.
As well. Like, why not, for example, put Drake against J. Cole or Rihanna against Beyonce, something like that. That was just opinion. But yeah, overall, I like it. I like the social media aspect that it's brought in, because there's a lot of like discussion. It was always trending whenever it was. Yeah, and it was just always over the timeline. Okay, so I thought we just have a bit of fun as well. We'll have we'll list our top 3 best albums of all time. We'll start our own little 3v3 type of remix to that NS10v10 kind of thing. So who wants to start, or should I start?
You can start. I feel like you're itching to get them off your chest.
Not really. My top 3 is, number 3 is Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. Number 2 is Nothing Was the Same by Drake. Number 1 is it's Watch the Throne by Jay-Z and Kanye.
Oh, yeah, I knew it'd be that.
Yeah.
They are 3 solid albums. That Jay-Z, Kanye one, Watch the Throne, that did shift a lot in hip-hop, because from then, that's when you started to see collab albums, really. Before that, you never really used to see them.
That is so true. It is true. I never thought about it that way, but I just remember like listening to it when it came out. I was like, secondary school, I wasn't know, kind of been older than 15. And honestly, you could just hear that it was just good music, because back then as well, I wasn't really heavy into rap. The only rap that I listened to was grime, and I was mostly just into like R&B and just stuff like that. But that was like the first like rap album that I liked and listened to from front to back, and I can still listen to that now and just say it's good music. Yeah. And the diversity on that album is so good, from like gospel tracks to like all out.
But that was all Kanye though. That was all Kanye. Jay-Z just turned up and rapped.
Okay. Yeah, obviously Kanye's going to have a massive hand in production though.
Yeah.
That's just who he is as an artist. But that's not a bad thing. Like, you're saying Jay-Z just turned up and rapped, like, he still carried himself very well. Like,
yeah.
True. I'm just stating the fact. Jay-Z turned up, rapped, and went home.
Yeah.
But niggas in Paris went off though.
Yeah. I'll be honest though, you probably are right. Kanye West probably was a tiny bit, probably about 60-40. Probably was a bit better than Jay-Z on that project. Yeah,
definitely.
I feel like it was more tailored to Kanye because of the production, though. Like,
it wasn't because of like lyrical wise. It's just like the way, even in Niggas in Paris, the way the beat switches just for Kanye.
Yeah.
And it goes like Mary Kay and Ashley and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The balance of each other good as well on that track. Like,
I know.
Like pauses when not stopping. They're just like interlinked verses, which is pretty good. Yeah. So
I remember when the video for Otis dropped.
Yeah.
Oh,
I still remember watching that for the first time. That was like the music video for that is sick.
Yeah.
Do you know that song "Got to Be" as well? When the song with when the playoff Heat plays LeBron James and D Wade. I love that bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's so many good tracks in there. One of my favourite ones in there is Mark Hudson. I forgot what it's called, but it's Mark Hudson. And he sings like the hook. That's a very good.
Yeah.
Lift Off as well.
Lift Off as as well. Church in the Wild.
No Church as well, yeah.
That was when I first discovered Frank Ocean.
Yeah,
that album.
I used to be like a sad Odd Future boy. That's how I knew Frank Ocean.
Imagine you as an Odd Future boy, actually.
Yeah.
The van, the backpack. Did you have
backpack?
Did you have
Honestly,
I
had
golf cap?
A what?
One of them golf caps.
Nah, I didn't, but I had like a fake Supreme bag. And like on all my social media, it was Odd Future, Wolfgang, Kill Them all that kind of stuff. Donuts in my notebooks. I was such a loser in 2012. Such a loser.
Was.
Shut up, man.
Go on, Finesse. What are your top three?
My top 3 albums. Number 3, I'll go for Bryson Tiller, Trap Soul. Because that's like one album I can listen to from beginning to end. And like every song is a banger as well. And like the way he mixes R&B singing and rapping.
Yeah.
I think.
It's very Drakey though, isn't it? I think.
He's mastered it though. Sometimes when Drake sings, it's kind of jarring sometimes on some songs.
Yeah, he's a better vocalist than Drake, yeah.
Yeah. And like it's more kind of, plus like he set an absolute trend. No one, I know Drake sang and stuff, but not to like Bryson Tiller's vibe. And you got to remember remember 2015, Trap Soul was just being pumped every single time. Yeah. And like Don't, Overtime, all those kind of songs.
Yeah.
He needs to drop a new album, man.
And that's another thing, like Trap Soul, I kind of feel bad for Bryson Tiller because like he'll never ever reignite that kind of fire again. I listened to his, I forgot the name of his second album, but that was just so trash. It was so bad.
No, I like that album.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
There was a few songs I liked. I liked Run Me Dry. I liked Set It Off. And there was a couple other songs as well, which I liked. But like compared to like the high standards of Trap Soul, he's even admitted himself, like he did one album and he just stopped and like
liked it though.
Threw it in the trash.
He said in an interview that I've seen before, it was like an audio one because he doesn't do like interviews for some reason. He's very like shy, and he was like he doesn't like really like singing and making music like that. He prefers writing music and producing it and stuff like that, and then sending it off.
Yeah, so he loves his video games as well.
Yeah, for example, on Chris Brown's Royalty album that come out in late 2015 after Trap Soul come out, and also his other album after that, which was Heartbreak and a Full Moon. Bryson Tiller wrote a lot of songs in that whole album, and then he would just like write songs and just sell it. He was saying that because only really like wrote music just to like get money really and to like look after his family. He doesn't really like all that fame and stuff, which is probably why he's not releasing any music.
That's true. He put out a good song with Young Thug as well, just before his second album came out, and I like that song.
Yeah. We'll drop these down.
Oh, yeah, another one you mean.
Releases and just not really give us anything else.
You got to think, though, he dropped that album off Heartbreak. With Trap Soul, like, you could tell, like, it's an emotional album, innit? You can tell he dropped it off Heartbreak. And then now, like, he's happy. He's got another kid on the way, or the kid's been born with Kendra Bailey.
Yeah.
Like, she's nice as well. So you got to think, like, he's never going to be able to replicate, like, Trap Soul after that.
That's what makes a good musician, though. A good musician is able to, like, no matter where they are in life, are, like, able to, like, make an album. Anyway, some artists, like, I'm not trying to throw a diss, but someone like Travis Scott, it doesn't matter what's going on in his life. His music is like, it's going to bang. But other people, like a bit like Drake and J. Cole, kind of, they are in life, or even Kanye, his albums, each one's different and his life is different. But the albums, his last few albums have been a mess, but before that, his albums were banging.
Yeah.
For me,
his last good album was Life of Pablo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that album doesn't count, though, by the way, Joe's Life of Pablo, because Kanye just ripped off so many people for that album. I don't even count it as his.
It's good, though. It's a good album.
It is a good album, but it's not Kanye's, it's everyone else's.
Oh, yeah.
But Panache, you're right, but with what I would disagree there is because people like J. Cole and Drake, and even Travis Scott, for an example, when you're rapping, it's different because it's about a vibe. When you're like singing R&B, like Bryson Tiller, it's emotion, like George was saying. So like to with like heartbreak and stuff. Like Chris Brown is released. I keep going back to him, but like he's released so many music over the years, and now he's been labelled with this tag that all of his songs sound the same. And I can see where they come from because a lot of it sometimes it's about same subject matter, it's nothing new. But his album after the whole Rihanna thing happened, the album Fame that he released. So after like it's gone through jail, probation, and all of that, that was like his best album, and he won a Grammy off that. And then that's probably my favourite Chris Brown album, and he's never reached that height again. So when you say about Bryson Tiller when he was coming off Heartbreak, and for him not to reach that height again, it makes total sense because he hasn't got that fire, you know. He hasn't got that motivation in his heart to be writing songs, and you can feel it in the music. And from the first to the second album, it just weren't that oomph with the music.
Yeah.
It was okay. So he's talented, but yeah.
I've been thinking this recently, right? Because obviously Nav's released his new album. I don't know if you've listened to it or not.
No, I haven't. We don't listen to Nav around here.
But anyway, I'm going to ignore that because Nav's decent. Like, he's got some good tracks. Like, most of it does sound the same, and his voice can be quite annoying on some songs. But I've listened to both albums, like the deluxe version as well. Yeah. And I'm going through it, and I just think, like, on his songs where he's like more melodic and it's got more of an R&B vibe to it, like, it's just such better music than like his upbeat, like, actual rapping. So I was just thinking, it probably sounds bad to say, like, someone like needs to break his heart so that he can produce music that is like 10 times better. Because I feel like I know that he's got potential there that he could tap into if someone like broke his heart and he used emotion in his songs. No. So at the minute he just raps about like clothes and diamonds and shit, and it's just pretty repetitive. But if he rapped about emotion and shit, it would be a lot better.
Yeah. Over the years, I'm finding that my music taste, but the number of artists that I listen to, it's narrowing. So it's not as big as it used to be. Like people like Nav, I listen to his album. People like Rich the Kid, but I just don't check for him anymore. It's just different.
Yeah,
I don't listen to new music anymore. I really do.
Yeah,
I just don't. Even all the new music that's dropped, I generally do not care. I've got like, I don't. Plus, I'm on this little rock vibe as well.
Yeah, that's weird as well. Like, I just think listening to new music is just like exciting. Like, I'll go out of my way to listen to new music and to try and widen my horizon on how much music I listen to.
Yeah, I agree with that. But for me, like, it's just hip hop in general. Like, I've listened to hip hop all my life, even growing up. That's what I listened to. So now I'm on like trying to listen to other genres and stuff. They might sound weird, but like rock, I'm on it. Like, look at my Spotify.
This is the Connor and Dean effect.
It's not even. It's not. You know, Connor. Connor loves Nav. Dean.
Yeah, but he used to love like rock and stuff. Like before uni, he used to tell all he listened to was bands and 1975 Arctic Monkeys. That was it.
Yeah. But legit, I'm on like I like Green Day. Listen to a lot of the Beatles. Paramore, even Nickelback, Linkin Park.
Decide if you want me to, yeah. Just say the word.
Even Coldplay. Listen to all of it. Just new music instead of anything but hip hop. Even country I've been listening to.
Country?
Yeah, and even like 80s music as well. A lot of a little bit of Fleetwood and Mac and all of that stuff.
Nah,
just something different.
Fleetwood Mac still. Fleetwood Mac are good. I'll give you
something different than hip hop, because like hip hop, I've just been too much for me right now. But anyway, my second favorite album, I said it, didn't I? Beautiful Daughters of Fantasy, yeah. And then my first one is, you know which one it is, don't you? My favorite album of all time.
Yeah, J. Cole.
2014 Forest Hill Drive.
Yeah.
First album in 25 years to go platinum, double platinum with no features. Produced it all. And, you know, it's just like he came with the theme of like his childhood and told a story throughout the whole thing, which is concise.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you look at it, like when he dropped it, I call that like the golden year of hip hop. But like Kendrick dropped To Pimp a Butterfly, Drake was If You're Reading This Is Too Late, Big Sean, Dark Sky Paradise. That kind of like big four in hip hop then. And I thought J. Cole had the best album of all them. And it did the numbers as well to back it up.
Yeah.
Especially the album he dropped after For Your Eyes Only, which was, we don't talk about that one. That just proves how good 2014 was.
Anything else that's dropped after that, it's been a bit mid, but
yeah, especially it was that one, KOD. I like that, to be fair. It went kind of down after For Your Eyes Only, but KOD showed me is like going back up. But I think like he has to go on. So I got a call there.
Go on.
Yeah, I think when J. Cole makes an album now after 2014, he has to like set a theme for it, and then he sticks to that theme. And I kind of feel like sometimes you can just like, I don't know, just throw stuff in the studio and then see what happens.
His next album's going to be quite interesting to me, because it's either going to be back to what he used to do, obviously with 2014 Forest Hill Drive, like Born Sinner, or it's going to be even, or I'm just going to completely fall out of like taste for his music. Because recently, like, I've been drifting further and further away from listening to him. So it's either going to be very hit or miss with me.
So, George, how about you? What's your top three?
It's quite a difficult top three. The third choice was quite easy. That's Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I used to listen to that all the time when it first came out.
Devil in a New Dress.
Quite hard. Huh?
Devil in a New Dress, Rick Ross feature on that song.
Yeah. Like Gorgeous is probably my favourite Kanye West song.
Remember the skit that Chris Rock did on Blame Game?
I don't think I've seen it now.
No. Right, continue.
So number two, I'd have to go. This was between Future, Hendrix. You know,
Hendrix, bro.
That's R&B Future is better than trap Future. It's fact.
No, he's not. Come on, no,
he is. R&B Future is better than trap Future.
That's not That's not Finger's best song.
But that was when I first started listening to Future.
Bro, you heard
those two albums that he released back to back. And yes, I've listened to DS2, but it just didn't hit with me the same as Hendrix hit with me. You remember, this was when we were in Ripon Street. I used to listen to Hendrix all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's number two for me. Got to remember, it's my top three albums, all right?
Okay.
Number two is Hendrix. It was either Hendrix or Gunna Drip Season 3. I couldn't decide between that, but I'm just going to completely leave Gunna's out because I can't take out Kanye. If you get my logic there.
Yeah.
And then number one is pretty obvious one. Astro World, Travis Scott.
Not Rodeo. I thought it could have been Rodeo, you know.
Nah, Rodeo was obviously unreal, but he's just elevated from what he did on Rodeo to Astro World. He's took it to another level.
So, to be fair, I've got it written down here. Astro World is one of my like best of the rest kind of thing. So it was like 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Trap Soul was also there, and also Faye by Chris Brown. But yeah, Astro World. If I had to choose a number 4, it'd probably be Astro World. That
album got no skips.
No.
It's got no skips, and it's like 18 songs.
I remember when I first heard it, it was like, oh my days. It was like early in the morning. I think I was getting ready for like work or an internship or something. I just listened to it. I was like, oh, this is too good. It just started off with like stargazing. Yeah. Astro World is
I've been waiting for it for so long. Like, I just remember I was back home. I was back in Manchester. I was just in my room. I literally just sat myself on my bed, put my headphones in, and just pressed play. And then just listened to it the whole way through. And I was just like, wow. I remember the song that stood out to me the most on that when I first listened to it was either Can't Say, obviously see Don Toliver, that's just a massive track, or probably have to say Astro Thunder.
Yeah.
The beat on that is a joke.
Yeah.
It just feels like you're in your own little world.
Yeah.
Now you two love Travis Scott too much sometimes. You don't think about him. You're very biased when it comes to Travis Scott.
Why is that biased?
That album is sick.
Honestly, Travis Scott could have a massive dump in the toilet, and you two will rave about it non-stop.
Bro, that album is so good. I don't understand. Honestly, listen to it when you can.
It's too long, man. It's too long. I remember when I first listened.
Problem. You're saying we're biased, but you won't listen to it.
No. I listened to it all because he's got bangers. I like Travis Scott as well. Don't get it twisted. It's still a great album. I like it as well. But when I listened to it, I remember I was on the way to work. I was going somewhere new as well.
Yeah.
So it was a long journey, and my gosh, it was just too long for me at the beginning. But then for me anyway, when I listen to albums, I have to listen to him the third time is when I'll start liking it.
Really?
Yeah.
After the first time, otherwise I just won't go back.
Nah, for example, like that new Drake one that he just dropped, I did not like it at all first time I heard it.
Yeah.
And then a week later, I'm bumping it now. I like it.
Yeah.
Astro World isn't even an hour long. It's 58 minutes. That's a very good length for an album.
What's the songs, George? What's the songs?
Okay. Starts off with Stargazing. Banger.
See what I mean about the way you get emotional about this guy, Travis Scott? It's okay. Not everyone has to like him as much as you.
Oh, you're pressing play on an album when you hear this. How did you not get gassed hearing that?
Right, you get this video copyrighted now. It's okay. Travis Scott is good. He's good. He's good. I mean. But
oh no, I lied. Stop Trying to Be God was the song that stood out to me the most when I first listened to it. Panache, you can't listen to this and tell me it's...
Yeah, that was good. But the best song on that was Drake. Drake owns that entire album with that little thing.
No, it doesn't. You're getting swayed by the mainstream. You've got your own opinion.
That's probably that doesn't probably just about makes top 5 best songs in that album for me.
Yeah,
what?
Same.
Just about makes top 5.
Just about makes top 5.
Just about.
Yeah, it's not even that good of a song. Obviously, it's a banger, but...
Oh, my God. Please, guys.
No,
we can't do this here. No, we can't.
We
can't do this here. We can't do this here.
No.
We can't.
No,
we can't. That's... No.
Can't say it's better than
No, that stuff can't run.
Houston Fornication's better than that. Yosemite's better than
Can't say. Yosemite, yeah.
Houston Fornication's better than that. Stargazing, yeah. I like Stargazing. Stop Trying to Be God. No bystanders is good.
No bystanders.
It probably is top 5, but it's not top 3. It's about number 4 or 5. It's definitely not top 3.
Yeah. Guys, this lose credibility. this is what we lose if you're saying.
No, it's a good song, Panache, but it's like 6 minutes long as well.
Do you not know that drop when Drake's at the beginning? Remember the first time you heard that song, you think, oh, Drake's going to kill it. And then it changes, switches to Travis, and then it goes back to Drake. And then she's in love with who I am back in high school.
Yeah, it is a banger, but it's not.
Now we got Epic. Come on. That song run the charts, put up the streaming numbers of that album. Even when Travis does his little Fortnite thing, what song's playing? What verse is playing? Drake. When Travis goes to the Super Bowl, what song is playing? Drake. Come on. Let's not do this.
But he has to play these songs
that's bad.
because everyone else loves them.
I say that's bad.
He has to play these songs.
That bobbed. That's the song that banged off that album, and it banged because of Drake. That's not even a diss. That's just fact. That song banged because of Drake.
No, I do hear.
And the production.
Just as the most.
And the production.
Right, let's move on because Panache is going to start to annoy me.
Article 4 is an ESPN article that talks about 2 NFL players. One of them was a first-round pick in last year's draft. They're wanted by the Miami, Florida State, by the police, should I say, an attempt of armed robbery, which is crazy. Do you guys know about the full story?
Yeah, watch the clip on is it First Take?
No,
Undisputed.
Undisputed. I always get them mixed up. And Shannon was talking about the whole thing, saying how like they gambled like 70k altogether. So they lost 70k at a poker game. Then they went home and came back like 3 days later. And then basically just turned up with no masks on or anything and just robbed all these people at the poker game. And then so dumb. And then drove away in a Lamborghini and like other expensive cars. Like, how dumb could they be? Seriously.
I don't understand it, like if you want to bet. But if you want to bet, you always have to remember the risk that you are going to lose, especially when you're betting massive money, like 70 grand or whatever. You can't just say, okay, I'm just going to go and take it back. Especially when you're a high-profile athlete. It's not like you're a regular guy.
He's making 10 million. He's guaranteed 10 million in his contract.
I know.
The New York Giants. It is so stupid. And I've just seen on Twitter that he's DeAndre Baker, the one that plays for the New York Giants. He's handed himself in to the police, but his lawyers said that he's got several witnesses that'll like get him off the charge. So, kind of makes no sense as to how several people can identify him as the one robbing them, but several people can identify him not being there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quite interesting.
Guilty, I guess. It's ongoing, isn't it? So you can't like convict him. But like, if what happened, if the original report is true, it's just I never thought I'd hear anything like it. It's just so stupid. It just makes no sense. You can't be like taking that big of a risk if you're in the position that you are. You got to remember they've gone through high school. They've been scouted, recruited to go to college. They've got their scholarship. They've done that. They've been drafted to the NFL. Like they've gone through so many hurdles to be where they are. Just to throw it away over something that stupid just makes no sense.
You got to think it could be. There's got to be some other reason behind it.
Yeah.
There has to be another reason why they'd want to get back 70k. Because if they're earning millions of dollars like every year. Exactly. 70k is like £7 to us. Like,
well, I wouldn't say that, but like it's probably like 70k would be like £700 to us, I think, to them, because they've got that 10 million. They might have a 10 million contract, but that's throughout that 6 years. Yeah. So obviously, and anyway, you wouldn't want to just like lose 70k, but he betted it. It's not like he got robbed.
Yeah. Exactly.
But how about you, Press? What do you think about this story?
I do. It does sound like a ridiculous story, to be fair, but also like that DeAndre guy is 22. And like we're 22, we do make mistakes. I just think there's two sides to every story. So I don't think he just like he lost money, then turned up the next day with guns to rob them. I think there must be some other. We probably will find out now that he's been arrested and he gets to defend himself.
Yeah.
There must be some justification of why they kind of did what they did. Maybe like the way they lost the money, because the other players, well, they're from like the same hometown and stuff.
Yeah.
So obviously there must be like some issue that explains this whole thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the whole thing is just, it's unexplainable right now. So hopefully he says, I did this because of this or something. And then we can kind of go, oh, okay. You still shouldn't have done it anyway, but we can understand why he did it.
One thing that I genuinely find so funny is that these sort of stories kind of always happen in American sports. Like you always see like this side of their personalities. Could you imagine if something like this happened in the UK, like to a Premier League player? Genuinely.
What, gambling? I think.
Not even gambling, like armed robbery. Like the only player that springs to mind who's been convicted of, well, not convicted, but has been charged with multiple things is it Nile Ranger?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah.
He's like the only player that I can think of when it comes to something like that. Whereas in America, you've got genuinely hundreds of cases of like basketball players, American football players doing all this shit.
It's just crazy.
I was watching a video, but I remember Mike Vick. A good quarterback in like the early 2000s. He got arrested for dogfighting. He organised. He was like on like 20 million, and he was just for fun, just organising illegal dogfights.
Crazy. It's got suspended, didn't they? And just went away.
But to be fair though, George, we've got idiots here in the Premier League as well. If you look at Kyle Walker, and he hired some pros during quarantine.
But that's different.
Yeah, it's not on the scale of armed robbery.
But it's still stupid. We still have idiots. It's just that, remember we talked about America, they're a different breed. They like go to the extreme.
Yeah.
The kind of dumb mentality of where like you're an athlete and you make millions of dollars, yet you decide to do like stupid things just because you think you can get away with it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But yeah, okay, cool. That's fine. So those were our chosen stories. But if you think that we missed any, please share with us in the comments. I will try and include them in our episode next week, and also talk about more articles if you guys want us to. Yeah. But yeah. Just before we go, George, you got? Is it Just Ball TV? You got out on Instagram?
Oh yeah. At JustBall_TV. It's just like a little football page. Me and two of my mates are running, Connor and Jay. Just everything football, basically. Behind the scenes news, like just some funny stuff that will be on your Instagram timeline if you hit us up with a follow.
Okay, great, man. Don't forget to check that out, as well as Nicsphere Instagram page too. So yeah, that's been it for the Countdown to Podcast Headlines with the Poppers. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And yeah, we'll see you next time.